Hey YouTube, welcome back to the channel. This is another Small Beans Coffee critique gear review. Today we've got the OXO Conical Burr Grinder. This is the larger one. I know they've come out with a more compact version. This is the original. Retails for approximately $89 to $99, and you can find it at most major retailers, online of course. I get asked quite often about grinders, you know, what kind of grinder should I get? And I'm talking to a lot of folks that they might have a lower budget and not want to spend as much money as some of us do on you know, our gear. You know, you can see my setup here at home behind me. And then I recently also just acquired a Time War sculptor for pour over. So one thing I found in having this grinder for about 2.5 years, it's got some really nice high points, and for the price point, I think it's great. So I think it's a great entry-level burr grinder. It's reasonably quiet, and OXO makes some pretty nice kitchen gadgets, and so it might match you know, the aesthetic with some of their other products that you have. Without further ado, we'll delve into this a little bit more. I've got a decibel meter, get an idea of how loud it is. It's definitely not the most quiet grinder. It is reasonably quick. It doesn't really take up a whole lot of space on the counter. It's lightweight. It's got a combination of stainless steel and plastic components. The static on this, so one thing with any burr grinder, you're gonna get static, you know, unless you get into the really higher end ones. I will say that this stainless steel collection container, it does make the static a little bit worse, but what I found, you know, if you give it a knock on the counter, and you can see the burr up. Don't look at how dirty this is. I do need to clean it. So the conical burr grinder, upgrading from say a blade grinder, you're gonna notice a definite improvement in the quality of your coffee, mainly the flavor, and then also the grind consistency. Burr grinders, they help keep the coffee cooler when it's being running through the machine. So if you think about it, a blade grinder is gonna create a lot of friction, and so therefore it's gonna heat up the coffee. So in a sense, you're kind of re-roasting your coffee, if you will. And so you're actually losing some of the flavor. Plus with a blade grinder, it's extremely difficult to control the consistency and the quality, because you're just chopping everything up at 1,000,000 miles an hour. And so you're not gonna really get any level of consistency unless you were to kind of go through and, like, you know, strain it out. Burr grinder really takes all that work, and then you're improving your quality. So yes, they are more expensive. You know, you can pick up a blade grinder for, you know, 10. I think I've even seen them for $5 at certain places. So yes, burr grinder is an investment. It's gonna cost you more, but you know, these typically don't break down unless you get a rock or something, you know, that goes through it. They last a long time as long as you keep them clean. You're looking to spend more money, I would be happy to give you some recommendations on some, you know, higher quality grinders that would last you a really long time, and you wouldn't really need to upgrade. But this is a great entry level if you're just kind of exploring. Some of the other features this has, it does have a 30-second timer. So this dial rotates here. It ranges all the way from 0 up to 30, and then it's just got the push button, and I don't have the hopper on, so it's got a safety feature, but there's a magnetic switch here, and so now it's on. But so actually let me show you this here so you can see it, how it works. And I do not do this at home. Do not run these without trying to bypass the safety features like I'm doing. I'm just doing this for educational purposes. Please do not stick your fingers in a burr grinder when it is running. Thank you, PSA over. I'll get off my soapbox now. So you can see there, it's how it spins. And so the other burr carrier sits on top here. So, and the reason it comes out is for cleaning. So make sure it's locked in there. And then you can kind of see how it spins inside of each other, and then so gravity feeds the beans down through, and they get pulverized and then come out of the spout, which is here. in a nutshell, how a burr grinder works. Not complicated. So this does have a, I would say I wouldn't necessarily say it's airtight. So then here you've got your adjustment. So that's the nice thing about burr grinders is you can adjust the fineness instead of having to guesstimate on the time required to chop up all of the coffee beans in a blade grinder. So this has a 1 or 0 rather. Yeah, 1 to 15. And for our test here, I'm just gonna set it in the middle at a medium, which is a number 8. I find most grinders are gonna have a similar range. So it does make it somewhat easy to translate if you do upgrade or switch to a different grinder. For a reasonably priced household burr grinder, not bad. And that was probably about, I don't know, 18 grams of coffee if I had to guess. So I did not time that, but I will say for larger quantities of coffee, it's not the fastest. 60 grams of coffee and it takes about a minute, maybe about a minute and 20 seconds. So I definitely wouldn't buy it for speed. And what it does is it vibrates the base to scatter the particles so you can get a nice reading of them. So you can see in comparison, so this one's medium fine and it has the ratio and then the counts compared to the Time More Sculptor, which is about 7 times more expensive than this grinder. You can see how much more all over the board this one is. It's not as consistent, and that's what you're gonna find with the less expensive grinders. So there are some trade-offs. You just have to decide what you're comfortable spending. But with that said, I have used this for 2.5 years. I think it makes a really nice cup of coffee. As you get more in tune with your taste buds, tell the difference with grinders. I can also, if I go to a coffee shop and they're not cleaning the grinder out in the middle, like those are all things that you might be able to start to taste. So our palate is changes, and I believe it adapts. So it's easy to train yourself, and then you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot also because you're gonna wind up spending more money on coffee gear. It's just how it works. So just to recap, under $100, great entry-level grinder. I would definitely not recommend this for espresso unless you're using a machine with a pressurized portafilter, because it will not go fine enough for a non-pressurized portafilter, and it is not consistent enough to give you a good extraction. Definitely gets our stamp of approval. OXO also came out with a conical burr grinder, but it has a built-in scale. So to have that functionality, and you can just grind directly into the cup, get your pour over set up, and there you go, you're off to the races. Now that one is, last I checked, it's $189 to $199, so it's about double the price of this one. Seems like they're kind of getting into a little bit more premium coffee gear, so I'll be curious to see what they come out with. But I've always liked their kitchen appliances. They look nice. They've always worked well. Have never really had any issues with them. They're easy to find, and their warranty and their customer service is pretty good too. So thanks for watching, and if you give us a like and a subscribe, please check out our Facebook and Instagram. We post reels and shorts on there, as well as some tips, and don't forget to check out our website. We've got some great coffees. Right now, I've got a organic washed Rwandan coffee that's absolutely fantastic, great as a cold brew. I've got a honey process from El Salvador that's excellent hot or cold. We also use that one in our signature blend. It's the Bayshore blend. It's my take on a breakfast blend. And we've got a really special dark roasted coffee from Colombia, from Finca Los Mangos. And we work directly with the farm on that one. And we've also got two special tea-like coffees, one from Burundi, and also a washed Arabica coffee from Vietnam. So check us out. And feel free to drop me a line anytime. Always love hearing from everybody. Happy brewing. Make it a great day. See you.